Okay, we're live. Welcome everyone to this week's edition of Fights Unwrapped. This week I only have my co-host Dustin with me, but that's okay. We'll manage. Alec has some issues that he has to deal with his fiance having some stomach issues, so best speedy recovery for that. So before we jump into our headlines this week, we'll talk about our sponsors real quick. Was called rxhemp.com. Carlos Condon is a huge proponent for it. Even though he's retired, he still uses it to train. If you guys want 10% off your entire order, you can use the code rxhemp-usn to get 10% off your order. And whoever's betting on anything, basketball, baseball is coming back soon, and also the fights, you can go to mybookie.ag and get promo code USN100 for 100% sign up bonus. That's right, 100% sign up bonus if you use the promo code USN100 today. All right, let's get into the headlines. So some of them are like really interesting, and we'll start with the most obvious one that's been in the headlines recently, which is Jorge Masvidal gets arrested. Okay, so there was like this fight in Miami, and it's supposedly involved Kobe Covington. I'm pretty sure. And the fight just ended, and basically a lot of people said that there were not like any shots fired, like any like punches thrown, but you know we don't really know what really happened during that time. But Dustin, what do you think about this fight that happened, and what do you think about Jorge Masvidal being arrested for it?
I actually want to hear what you got to say first. I mostly do go first. I want to see what you got to say.
Yeah, I just think it's stupid. Like like why get arrested for all of that? It's just it's dumb. Like I get you have a rivalry with this guy, but like and you already settled it in the octagon and outside the octagon. Like you have kids, don't you have kids and like a family to look after and things like that? So like I personally don't understand why he has to like push it so far and like get himself arrested. Now he's arrested. Now he has to deal with these charges and like he should have a lot of other things to deal with, including a family of his own. So those are my thoughts when it comes to it. What about you, Dustin?
You're a little bit too old for this, dude.
Yeah,
Like you're in your upper 30s. And here's the reason I really think he did it was because Colby hurt his ego, dude.
yeah,
Colby, there's a really toxic thing about dudes. I'm not gonna lie, but we have this weird thing. Our ego is ridiculous. Like
mm-hmm.
when we don't we feel like we got punked or we got bullied. It's a real problem. And I think like Colby is like almost bullied him in the cage, dude. He
Yeah,
dominated. He knew he could. That's why he did what he did. And literally, here's the thing about Masvidal. I remember he was talking about Leon
yeah.
while he sucker punched Leon, and
Mm.
he was like, "Well, I did it because it was disrespect and all this." And I was like, even the people at home, like, why would you let him disrespect you like that in the first place? You should have went at him at first. And I was like, dude, why do you care what these people think back at Miami or back in your old neighborhood? Why do you give a shit? You're a 36-year-old guy. You're up there, dude. You're rich. You got money. You've made a lot of money fighting. You're above that shit, man. You don't need to act like that anymore. And like the biggest thing is like with him and Colby, I get why he's mad at Colby, and I understand why he has the comments. He's mad about the comments Colby made
Yeah,
because Colby knows him. That's what people need to realize. When Colby says some of this shit, I don't think he's playing. I think he really means it. Like he really
yeah,
called him a piece of shit. And I think that Jorge is rightfully offended by that. But at the end of the day, bro, you had 25 minutes to legally beat this dude up,
yeah,
and you wasted all of them. Now you're gonna hunt him down while he's at a restaurant you didn't even eat at. So it
yeah,
wasn't like you guys just somehow met there, dude. You found him and you attack him outside of the club or the restaurant. It was a restaurant. And then, people are saying, oh, he called the police. First of all, if you get in a fight in public at a restaurant, they're calling the police.
yeah,
They're calling the police. That's like protocol. The police are going to show up. It's not like
yeah,
Colby called the cops on him. It's not like Colby was like, yeah, let me call the police on you real quick. No,
yeah,
you probably
yeah,
didn't have
yeah.
done that. And then people are saying he sucker punched him, knocked his teeth out. I was like, bro, I saw him after the fight. He looked fine. He didn't even get touched.
Mm,
And I'm like, Jorge just needs to, dude. He needs to grow up, bro. You're
yeah,
36 years old, acting like you're in high school. Like, bro, that shit gets you thrown in jail. Like you said, you have kids. Bro, you should be more worried about going to jail and not being there for your kids than fighting Colby over some dumb shit he said. He's weird.
No, agreed. And I think you're right, Dustin. I think it ultimately goes to the male ego and it being bruised and like what the effects have on that for sure. Well, basically, we can move on to the next headline, which is obviously related to this, which is Khabib's comment on Jorge. So basically, if anyone doesn't know that, Khabib made some comments defending Jorge's sneakily attack, saying that if you're stronger than someone inside the octagon, it doesn't mean you can insult his children. No one has the right to insult someone's family. And like on and on and on. So basically, it's just basically saying, um, Kobe, we should refuse to right the welterweight should refuse to fight Kobe, just because what's called because he's insulting families and he's insulting children. Like I understand where Khabib is coming from because like obviously he had his own fight with Conor, like when Conor was insulting his religion, his family as well. But Khabib like defending Jorge about that, like I understand like defending him in terms of like that someone shouldn't insult someone else's children. Like I totally get that. But like defending him on his attack and like for him to get arrested from it, that's not cool. Right. So Dustin, like, do you have any comments on what Khabib said about the Jorge situation?
This is adding on to the bullshit Khabib said after his retirement.
Yeah.
He talks so much bullshit. Like, bro, shut the fuck. How are you gonna sit here and say like you're? Because like, remember he talked about the ringside girls.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he said because of his religion and stuff like that, he doesn't like that. But he doesn't like the girls being, almost pretty much half naked. Like, I mean, they are. I mean, whatever,
Mm.
dude. They're really not though. Let's be real. They're really not. Like, it's
Yeah.
just tight clothing. It is what it is. And literally, like he's talking about his religion and how he doesn't believe in that. And when he was watching sports with his dad, he got uncomfortable seeing those girls. But you're comfortable with grown men attacking other men in public.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're religious when it comes to ringside girls, but when it comes to another grown man attacking another grown man in public for no reason, illegally. I mean, and I know it comes when he says that shit that Conor talked. First of all, Conor doesn't know Khabib.
Yeah.
Conor doesn't know Khabib. He talked all that shit to market the fight, and he took it. So he took the fight. So I don't know what he's talking about. He took it.
Mm.
So another thing is when you talked about Jorge and he was like talking about he insulted his family. First of all, nothing came out of Colby's mouth insulting anybody in his family. Not
Yeah.
once. He was insulting Jorge. He didn't say anything about his kids. He said Jorge was a deadbeat. That's not saying that his kids are bad or his kids are like, he didn't say anything. Matter of fact, he spoke good about Jorge's ex wife. He was like, dude, she was paying our bills. And it was
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? He was talking about Jorge disrespecting her. He was literally almost sticking up for his ex wife, bro. So, like, when people say he insulted his family, he did not insult his family. He insulted Jorge. That's fair game, dude. He insulted you. Now,
Yeah.
do I believe in personal attacks all the time? No. Between those two, that was personal. Like it was personal. No matter how you want to scratch it. So like Khabib coming out and saying all that bullshit, I'm just like, bro. First of all, it's obvious you didn't listen. And second of all, I mean, dude, stop with the attacks. And the only reason you're saying that is probably to defend your actions when you jumped out of an octagon and started fighting people that weren't involved in the fight at all.
Yeah.
And your boys jumped in and sucker punched Conor and all this shit. I was like, man, you're just defending what you and your crew have done. That he slapped people like in the middle, like, bro, shut the fuck. I don't want to hear it, bro. You're defending yourself, in my opinion. And I'm just like, Jorge had no right. Jorge's an idiot for doing it, and Khabib shouldn't never said that.
No, for sure. I agree. Like Khabib, like he's been spitting out like so much like bullshit like after his retirement. And like it's like I don't even know him anymore. Like that's not the fighter that I respected and I loved so dearly. Saying all these comments, especially about the ring girls, especially about Jorge, like that's just it's just not. the fighter that I grew up loving, but I understand he has his religion, I understand he has his beliefs and his way of doing things, but still, why stick your head in someone else's business? It's this is between Masvidal and Kobe. I don't
Had
know why
nothing to
he's
do.
sticking his head in the business like
And
that,
he was like, everybody should deny a fight with Colby. Shut the come
Yeah,
on,
he said
bro.
that.
Like no one's gonna deny fights with Colby. He's one of the number one fighters in 170. They have to beat him to get up there. Colby's gonna get another fight. Like, come on, bro. He's gonna get another fight. No one gives a shit about what he said about Jorge, and nobody cares about Jorge's feelings. Nobody gives a
Mm.
shit about Jorge's feelings.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, we'll move on to the next headline, which is talking about Khabib's old nemesis, Conor, and we're gonna talk about Usman versus Conor a little bit. What's it called? Okay. So Usman versus Conor. Conor says he wants to come back up to 170 and fight Usman. I think it's a really good fight. Conor is gonna get picked apart in this fight. We'll talk about it briefly because I'm not sure if you guys talked about it last week, but
We didn't.
basically, okay.
Not really.
So basically, there's a lot of speculation online because Usman has been posting a lot of cryptic, like Instagram saying like, oh, like he wants to do what now, or like something like that he's posting that's like trying to insinuate that it's obviously about Conor McGregor, and I like the fight. I think Conor should move up in weight. I think he's huge now. By the way, so basically, like that's the no brainer that he's probably gonna go up in 170. Does Conor like deserve this fight? No, but he has all the money and all the marketability to get this fight going, and then like you can definitely market Usman, who's not that marketable, to create this whole fight. So, what do you think, Dustin? Do you like this fight? Do you agree with the fact that Conor probably doesn't deserve this fight, but he's probably going to get it because he's Conor McGregor?
No, he doesn't deserve the fight at all. That just no.
Yeah,
Yeah, he literally the only person he beat at 170 was Nate Diaz, and a lot of people say that it was arguable.
it was
And
arguable.
I
Yeah,
thought he won the fight, but it was arguable. But
yeah,
it's to a point where I don't know what Conor. I think Conor does not care anymore. I'm gonna
mm,
tell everybody. I don't think he gives a shit about anything anymore. I don't think he gives a shit about losing. I don't think he gives a shit about his record. I don't think. I think it's just money at this point. I
yeah,
think he's about to get cashed out so he can again just keep living that lavish lifestyle. But if you want to talk about a realistic fight, the reason he's gonna get this fight is because like I agree with Cosmo. So Cosmot actually said something really smart. I did
yeah,
not expect this. I did not expect this out of Cosmot. He was like, I get it. He's like, I get it. And he was like, he's too big in the sport, man. And he was like, if he wants to fight, he's getting it. And he was like, no matter what, no matter if I deserve it or if someone else deserves it. He was like, I think I do if I beat Burns, but he was like, if Conor jumps me, he was like, I get it, man. He was like, there's
yeah,
nothing I can say. I'm not as big as him. And I respected that from Cosmot because that made sense. Because Khabib said the same thing when he
yeah,
fought Eddie Alvarez. And I'm gonna be completely honest. He doesn't deserve the fight, but I do think he's gonna get it because Kamaru's up for it. Kamaru don't care.
yeah,
He's like, whatever, dude. Like you want this, you come get it. And I think realistically in that fight, I think Connor's gonna get put on his ass. Like I don't. He can't wrestle Kamaru
no,
Usman. He can't. Do I think he could strike with him? Like if
yeah,
Connor lands that left hand, bro, I don't give a shit. If Connor gets on a roll and he comes out with that Muay Thai style, he might be able to strike a little bit. But when it
mm,
comes to Kamaru Usman's just physical dominance, I don't see how Connor wins this fight. I don't see it at all. It doesn't really
yeah.
make sense.
You know what's surprising to me is that Usman, he's like running away from Chimaev, but he wants to honor Conor McGregor in this fight. I'm just like, why are you running away from an up and coming star, and then but you want to go in the octagon with Conor McGregor, who is like obviously one of the biggest in the sport, if not the biggest in MMA and stuff like that. That's what
Kamaru's not
surprises me.
because Kamaru doesn't see Connor as a threat. He
Yeah,
doesn't see Connor as a serious threat. When you step in the octagon with someone like Cosmet, bro, It's game over. He's a real fighter right now. This is what people need to understand. Kazmat is not one of these. Now he does showboat. He does talk some shit. And he does do his
Yeah.
due diligence, but
Hmm.
he's not a fighter yet to the point where he's lost that he's lost the killer instinct. He's not civilized. I mean, when he steps in that ring, bro, it's on, man. Like that dude's coming. He's coming to finish you. He's coming to knock you out. He's coming to dominate, and he's a fighter right now.
Yeah.
He's a and it's scary stepping in with guys like that. Conor, I don't think is like that anymore, but it is what it is. I don't think Usman is scared of him. And again, Usman's smart, man. This is the money fight. People are buying this
Yeah.
shit. I'm gonna say that right now. It's money. We're talking millions upon millions. Like he might make his first million over payday. He might make a
Yeah.
million fighting Conor, and that's what it is. It's called money. He's getting older. He's not getting any younger. He's probably going to get knocked off the throne. I mean, he knows what's coming. So again, I don't blame him for taking the Conor fight. I just think no, he doesn't deserve it. Obviously, that's just bottom line.
Yeah, it doesn't deserve. Conor doesn't deserve it. At the end of the day, if this fight actually happens, it's all about the money, and we all know it. That's great. That's basically all I have to say about that for sure. Let's go. Our last headline of the week, which is, I know it's not Dustin's favorite, but we're gonna have to talk about it because this fight's happening potentially in July. I think July 2nd. I'm not too sure if I'm correct or not, but basically we got Davison Figueiredo defending his belt against Brandon Moreno. Number four. Number four. I know it's not Dustin's favorite subject, but like basically because after the last fight, he wasn't really keen on seeing a fourth fight. But it is what it is. It's gonna happen. It sucks because it's like holding up the division. Basically, there is a fight in this main card that is like the number one who will be the next number one contender for the belt. So like I guess that's why it makes sense to do this fight in July. But basically, I guess I'll start first. My thoughts on this fight. I love when these two fight. I wasn't the biggest fan of the last fight. I thought some of the judges were a little bit too generous on some of the fighters, but that's just me. I love when these two fight. I think it's gonna be a good show regardless of what happens. Who do I think is gonna win? I think Figgy has probably figured out Moreno. And it's funny because the second fight Moreno figured out Figgy, and now I feel like Figgy has figured out Moreno and how to stop him. So that's what I think. What do you think, Dustin? I know it's not your favorite matchup to talk about, but we gotta talk about it anyways.
I'm gonna watch it. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's
Yeah,
just here's my thing about Moreno, and I was mad at him for losing that fight. You freaking
yeah,
all you had to do, man. Here's the thing about Moreno. I think when he finally won that belt, I think that he took a victory lap. I mentioned that before their fight last time. He took a little bit of a victory lap. He was excited, parading around that he's a new champ, all this shit. And
hmm,
I was like, look, bro, your journey is long from over. I enjoy that shit while it lasts. Because I didn't like that's what I was saying. I didn't like his attitude with that belt. I was like, bro, you better get back in the gym because it ain't over. Like
yeah,
it's not, Figgy's coming again. And it's like, again, I think he got a little relaxed. I think he got a little comfortable, and Figgy took advantage of it. And it's what it is. I think Moreno can beat him. Like I don't think he's gonna lose again, to be honest. But I think winning that belt again just made him comfortable, made him feel achieved, and he thought that he could do it again, and he didn't have the same energy, man. He didn't have the same energy. Figgy came in there ready,
yeah,
and that's the worst part about it. It's the worst part about it is really like, bro, you paraded around a little bit too much. You got too excited, and
yeah,
I think he just figured out what it's like to be a UFC champion. Everybody's aiming for your head. They're coming with, it's just bad, man. They're coming for you bad. You got a big ass target on you, and enjoy the belt, man. But you got to take that belt serious. There's a lot of shit that comes with it.
no, for
So
sure, yeah,
yeah, I think he got too lighthearted. If I was to pick, I don't know, man. I think Moreno will win again, but it's hard, man, because Figgy's gonna come to fight again. Figgy don't enjoy that belt. He's not parading around about it. He's just ready to fight. That's pretty much my opinion on it.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you in terms of like Moreno. Like once he won the belt, once he started getting all these endorsements, and like he was like, like you said, parading around that he has the belt, like that he was invincible. I'm like, no, you have a huge target on your back. You got Figgy coming after you still after all these fights, and you still have to perform at the end of the day. And I think like that's what got to him. I think you're right about that. I think during the fight, Figgy was super prepared. Like he knew what he had to do to stop him, and he did that, and that's why he won the belt back. Figgy, like I like Figgy's attitude, like when he has the belt, like he literally knows he has a target on his back and he's ready to fight like anybody. So like I definitely like prefer him as a champion in terms of his attitude and things like that, and besides Moreno. But I still have Figgy winning. I don't know why. I think Figgy has figured Moreno out at this point, and he's like ready to defend his belt. So we'll see what happens. All right, so we have a interesting card this week. Basically, it's UFC Columbus. They're not using the Vegas anymore because now they're all like spreading out
They're
into
traveling.
different states. Yeah, exactly. Now it's yeah, no, COVID is lifting up hopefully in many countries and many cities around the world, and now we have a really diverse card. Basically, the first fight on the card is a lightweight fight between Mark Diasi versus I can't pronounce his name. Via Chaslav Borishev, who he is 6-1. I think you know who he is, anyways. So I think Borishev should win this fight. Mark Diasi for me is like kind of washed up. I don't really like follow him too much. Like I know of his fights, but he's not that good in my opinion. So like, what do you think, Dustin? What do you think about this fight?
I'm not. I'm not. I don't. I'm not too keen on it. I know the. I can't pronounce his name, so I was just calling the Russians. Man, there's a lot of Russians with
Yeah.
weird names. So that guy's coming with a decent little experience in the UFC. He's winning. He won a few fights, and the guy he's fighting, he has gone up and down. I believe he is on a
Yep.
2 lose streak. So again, this is one of those things where Dana just set stuff up, and he was like, "Hey, man, you're on a losing streak. He's on a winning streak. Let's see it. Let's see what happens."
Yeah.
Neither of them are very big. Neither of them are very popular. So this is a fight your way up type of fight, fighting for a contract, and then seeing if you can keep on the win streak. Put it that way.
Yeah, I'm surprised this made it to the main card, but they have to fill their spots anyway, so I totally like understand that.
Mhm.
But basically the next fight, you know these two, they're Latifi versus Olenek for a heavyweight bout. So I haven't seen Latifi fight, I feel like, in a long time, so I'm excited to see him fight. Basically Olenek, I've always been a huge fan of his chokes. So like I've always been a huge fan of that. But I think he's getting up there in age. Obviously, he's like probably I think he's like 40 or something like that. So he's probably 40 something. So I think Latifi will probably win via strikes. But Olenek has a huge head, and like it's really hard to knock him down. Really, really hard to knock him down. But I think Latifi can do it. Who do you think is gonna win this fight, Dustin?
This is old guy versus old guy. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, both of them have been beat by all the top guys in the UFC heavyweight division. So
Mm.
I don't know about this fight. Linnick is a very experienced dude. I don't know how exactly it's gonna go. If I was gonna pick one, I don't like Latifi. I'm not a big fan of him. Honestly,
Mm.
I think Olynyk's gonna take him. I don't
Okay.
think. I think Olynyk will win this one.
Do you think he's gonna choke him out?
I don't know about choking him out. I don't know. It's weird. I mean, if I was him, I definitely would start trying to get down the ground. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
for sure.
But Latifi's old too. Latifi ain't young, so it's not like he's facing some young, big guy, man. He's facing an old guy versus old guy. So go to your strengths. So Olynyk, strangle him if you can. If not, I mean, it depends. I think I agree with you that Latifi probably has maybe better hands. I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
But Olynyk's no slouch, so and I think he's more experienced. I'm giving it to Oleinik. I'll take Oleinik in that fight.
Okay. What's called this next fight should be like the main event. I swear, it's Askar Askarov versus Kai Kara France. That's the number one contender fight for flyweights, and that should be the main event in this fight. But instead, we have Blades versus Dawkins, which I don't understand that main event, but whatever. It wasn't supposed to be Blades versus Dawkins. It was supposed to be somebody else, but Dawkins like filled in last minute. So basically, Askar Askarov is probably gonna win this fight. Kai Kara France is not that great of a fighter. He's like mid level in my opinion, but he's still like, you don't underestimate him kind of thing. So Dustin, who do you think's gonna win this fight? I think Askarov, like everyone should like basically watch out for Askar Askarov.
I think Askarov's gonna win.
Yeah.
Askarov, he's 10 times more talented. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Kara's coming off that little knockout of Cody Garbrandt. I mean, Cody Garbrandt's been getting knocked out by everybody. Like I think his chin's got so thin. So he got some little brownie points off knocking down Cody Garbrandt, which I understand. Cody Garbrandt's still a former champion and all that, so I get it. But Askarov, then no, that's that dude, man. He's a demon, bro.
Yeah.
I don't see that happen to Askarov. I'll put it to you that way. And I do agree this should be the main event. The only thing about Curtis Blades is I think he's kind of scratching the surface in the heavyweight division, and I think that's why they're starting to put him up there. So
yeah,
let's see.
I can see like the reason why the heavyweights are like the main events because like a lot of people, especially older UFC fighters, not fighters, fans, they love the heavyweight division. It's like one of the most popular, if not the most popular, in like especially for the older UFC fans. They don't like really care about the smaller guys for some reason, so that's why they don't really make the main events. Like how many flyweight events have you seen that are main events besides like fighting for the belt? There's like basically none. Like for fight nights, especially.
Even with Demetrius Johnson, they were co-mains.
Oh, especially that they never just like respected him enough to give him a main event slot, and he was like probably one of the most. He was a pound for pound like greatest fighter at the time for sure. Yeah. And what's called Dustin, are you like this is a sidetrack question, but are you gonna be staying up to watch the One Championship tournament that's coming up this weekend? It's I believe Demetrius Johnson will be facing Rotang for the belt. I'm pretty sure, and then there's also the part one, which is obviously Danielle Kelly and Andre Galvao will be on that card. So a lot of people will be staying up at 1 a.m. to watch that card. And the second part, there's a few fighters that are facing off, and then the third part is Stamp Fairtex versus Angela Lee for I think the atomweight title or something like that. So. Should be good. I don't know if I'll be able to stay up to watch it, but I definitely want to because especially with the BJJ people in there, I definitely want to watch. But you guys have to stay up at 1 a.m. to watch that one. So, anyways, we'll move on to the next fight. Again, I don't know why this fight is on the main card, but it's because Matt Brown is Matt Brown. He's super popular. So we have Matt Brown versus Brian Barbarena. Now, Matt Brown has been on a tear recently. He's been on a winning streak, so do I think he's going to win this fight? Perhaps, because I think he's on a roll right now, but he's like, this is his last straw. Like, he knows, like, this is the last run he has in the UFC, in my opinion, because he's getting up there. He's, like, probably Carlos Condit's age as well, so that's why I think this is going to be his last run. I think he's going to win this fight, in my opinion. But who do you think's gonna win, Brian Barbarena or Matt Brown?
No, it's Matt Brown. It's definitely Matt
Brown. Yeah.
This is one of those fights. Like I said, I've said MMA fighters do it too, not just boxers. Sometimes they'll take fights just to fill time. Like they do it. They do it to stay active. Not saying that you should do that in MMA because MMA is pretty unpredictable, man. Boxing is not as unpredictable as MMA is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely a gamble, but I think Matt Brown, he's a tough dude, man. Matt Brown's tough, and he is popular. A lot of people know him, but it's just like I don't know about all that. I mean, I don't think Matt Brown's going to make a big run, especially how talented his division is. That's yeah. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't think you're going to get there with all those young guys in front of him, but it's definitely going to be weird. Well, we'll see though. I mean, I like seeing Matt Brown fight, but I agree. I don't like how it's the co-main. Kara France and Oscar could have been the main. It could have been the main and should have been the co-main at least. So, yeah, I think that's stupid.
Yeah, but I think the co-main is actually a really good co-main. You got two girls fighting for the women's flyweight. You got Joanne. Well, she's not called Wood anymore. It's Wood because she got married, and then she's facing off against Alexa Grasso, which is also gonna be a really good fight. Cause I love the both of them, but I'm like sad because I don't know who to choose. Alexa Grasso, her boxing and her striking is like amazing. It's gotten like so good in my opinion. But Joanne Calderwood, like she has, I keep calling her Calderwood because she's like that's her old maiden name. But Joanne Wood, she like has some really good kicks, and like I seriously think that Alexa Grasso is probably gonna win this fight. She's a more technical striker. She's most likely going to dominate in that regard. What do you think, Dustin? Who do you think's gonna win this girl fight?
I'm actually impressed that Dana finally put one of these female fights on the co-main, and it's about time.
Yeah.
Because on the last pay-per-view, they put the number 5, the number 4, number 7 ranked female on the fucking undercard.
Oh my god. That's
Don't know
terrible.
how that works. Don't know
Yeah,
how that
because
works.
like they're a little sexist in the UFC. We all know that. Like it's pretty obvious, right? So it is what it is. They think the guys will sell more. That's why they don't put the girls on there.
Here's the thing. Well, I mean, if you want the girls to sell more, dude, you can't be putting them on the fucking prelims.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
that doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's just like it was a number 4 and number 7 ranked females in the world, and you put them on and then you put like Greg Hardy on the damn main card. Don't nobody care about Greg Hardy. Put him in the damn
Yeah,
prelims.
exactly.
Like these top ranked females on the fucking main card. That would have made complete sense. But I'm glad he finally did it. Like he's given females somewhat of like some type of prime time spot, and they can get paid because it's a co-main event.
Yeah.
And it's like about damn time. But I got Grasso in this fight completely. Congratulations on Calderwood to get married. I'll probably still call you Calderwood. I'm not gonna lie.
I know, right?
Like, I'm actually really surprised she changed her name, like in fighting. Really surprised because that's weird. It's weird to do. I haven't seen a lot of females do that.
What's called Nina Asarov, who is obviously now Nina Nunes. She changed her name as well, so I guess it's a trend now. So
I guess, but it was like I didn't really get. It's weird though. It's weird. Like I don't know because maiden names that's fine. I was just talking about like when you're in your public, like
yeah.
it's. I would probably I'd have kept her. I'd have kept that name.
Yeah,
Just
me
used
too.
it obviously, but I think Cutter was good, man. I just don't. She's not as good as
Grasso, yeah.
Grasso's. She's coming, man. She's coming. I know
her
was.
pinpoint striking is amazing. It's really good.
She's a big girl too, dude, and she beat Macy Barber, which I cannot stand. I can't stand her.
I can't stand her.
I don't like her. I don't like her. When she beat her, I was pretty happy. I watched that fight. Alex Grasso, yeah, she's gonna. I think she's gonna win this fight. She's going up there she's going up there in division, and I think that she'll be fighting, for probably titles here very soon.
Yeah, I'm really glad she made the leap to flyweight because I know she was struggling at strawweight to make weight, and especially like she was talking about female hormones and like what happens during that time, and she was always talking about like going up in weight. So I'm really happy that she is. I know that this women's fight is going to be better than the last women's fight in the pay-per-view that happened. Rodriguez versus, I forgot her name. She was a Chinese girl or whatever. But that fight was like boring to me. But this fight is going to be really good. So everybody tune in for that. And obviously for the main event, we have none other than the heavyweights. We have Curtis Blades versus Chris Dawkins. Now, this should be an easy one for many people because everyone knows that Curtis Blades is really talented and really technical, especially when it comes to striking. Chris Dawkins, like I would cheer for him for Alec, because Alec, like cheers for his Philly guys all the time, and Dawkins is from Philly as well. So like, I'd probably cheer for him because I'm not a huge Blades fan. I think his fights are super boring in my opinion. They're never really entertaining. Like I've never watched a Blade fight and be like, oh my god, like I've never done that before. So probably not gonna happen this time. He's probably gonna try to wrestle Dawkins as he does with most of his opponents, and I'm giving it to Blades, but I hope Dawkins wins. What about you, Dustin? Who do you think's gonna win this fight?
Yeah. I want to cheer for Dawkins because I like Dawkins, and me and Alec actually both like him. He lost his last fight, but Curtis Blades, that was a tough draw because Curtis Blades like one of the few guys in the heavyweight division that heavily utilized wrestling.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty rare it's use wrestling that much. Like he actually uses it. Like he will transition and double leg. So it's a weird thing. I mean, he could take the Derek Lewis route and take that uppercut from hell, and
Mm.
when he goes for a takedown.
Yeah.
But man, I gotta go with Curtis Blades, man. He's I think he lost to Derek Lewis. That was that little uppercut, man. That was more of a you got caught thing. I think he could have competed with him. Yeah, I'm definitely taking Curtis Blades. Sorry, Gaukis. I'll in my heart, I'll be cheering for you. I hope you win.
Me too.
But
Yeah.
if I'm betting money, I'm gonna go ahead and go with Curtis Blades. It's a bad fight for him, in my opinion. It's weird.
Yeah, I'm trying to see like who they put in the prelims and see if they put Neil Magny in the prelims, which I don't understand. They put that in the prelims. They put Jennifer Maya in the prelims, which is like disgusting because she's like number 3 at least or something like that in the division. That's crazy. But like the girl that she's fighting, Jennifer Maya's facing Mana Fioret. I don't know if you know who she is, but she's a really great striker. She's like 8-1, and that should be a good fight. Um, Dana Battieri is also fighting. He's also really good, so watch out for that. These prelim fights like look like they're gonna be better than the main card fights, to be honest with you. Except the co-main and also Askarov versus Kai Kara France. But let's go. We are taking a break next week in terms of the fight card because there is no fight card. But will come April 9th, there is UFC 273, and it's going to be massive. It's the one where we have Volkanovski versus Korean Zombie. We have Aljamain Sterling versus Peter Yan finally, and then we also have obviously Chimaev versus Burns, which is also really good. So thank you, Josh Linares, for tuning in. We are just wrapping up very soon, so thank you for that. I know, right? We got
I'm
some really good supporters.
I'm interested. I'm interested in that card, but it's
Mhm.
weird. It's probably the first time I'm not buying a fight for the main event. Like I'm buying the
Yeah,
fight, the other 2 to 3 fights on that card. I'm because the Korean Zombie versus Volkanovski that was garbage.
yeah,
That was garbage. I was like, no one wants to see Korean Zombie. Like I like Korean Zombie, dude, but he's not going to beat Volkanovski. He's just
yeah,
not going to beat Volkanovski. I was like, that's not going to happen. And then we got. I think I'm telling you, they should have waited to make that. They should have just waited. Volkanovski should have took a break. I don't see why he took this fight. I get it, but I don't.
mm,
And then I mean, Aljamain Sterling, in my opinion, and Peter Yan should have been the main event. If you ask me, should have been the main
yeah,
event. And then obviously the Kazmat fight against Burns. That's going to be great because we have not seen Kazmat against a top guy like Gilbert Burns.
yeah.
So that's going to be works. Can't wait to see that.
I wonder who's
That's
gonna
going to
be
be
the
interesting.
underdog. Like, who? If you're betting, I bet you. Imagine if Gilbert Burns was the underdog, just because Chimaev is like on a tear, and like Burns has like lost his last match and stuff like that. So
I think Kazmat's going to be the favorite.
yeah.
Kazmat's definitely going to be the favorite.
I was gonna say if he was an
Just his
underdog,
aura.
I would bet on Cosmov if he was the underdog. It is. So
I'm telling you, Vegas is smarter than that, man. Vegas is gonna put Kazma. He's gonna put Kazma. You know, they're gonna put him like plus. They're gonna put him probably like plus 200 or something.
yeah,
Because
and then you have like Calvin Gastelum in the main card. I was like, oh my god, I totally forgot about him.
I
Totally
didn't forget
forgot about
about
him.
him. Just Kelvin can't keep it. He can't like go on a win streak. That's Kelvin's problem. Like he'll get a really impressive win, and then all of a sudden, bro, he gets put out or he gets dominated. It's a really weird thing because I was a big fan of him. I'm still
Yeah,
am a fan of Kelvin Gastelum. It's just, dude, you got to string together wins. Like it's got to be coming 3 to 4 at a time.
yeah,
You can't do the win lose win lose win lose. I mean, you'll keep being in the UFC, but you're not going to the heights. I think you should drop weight. I don't think he should be at 185.
yeah,
Um, I mean, in my opinion, I think he should drop weight. That's just
yeah.
me. I don't see him competing at 185.
Well, he's facing off against Nasruddin Aminov, so it's a pretty tough opponent. I think Dana set this up pretty like smartly, just to say like, okay, Calvin, you need to win. You should win against this guy. You know, now you're facing off against someone who's obviously really good, but not like in the top 10 or anything like that. So like, you know, we'll see about that. And then we have Mackenzie Dern coming back to face against Tisha Torres. I know you like Mackenzie Dern, Dustin. So you know,
I
and
like both these fighters. I like
I
both of
like
them. I'm a big fan of both of them.
yeah, tiny Tisha Torres. I mean, like she's scrappy and she's been on a tear. She's gotten like her and Mackenzie Dern have gotten like a break in between their fights. So now they're coming back and now they're fighting. So it should be good. Let's see anything in the prelims that are really good. Let's see. Aspen Ladd is fighting again. I don't know if you remember her, but she's facing Irene
I
Aldana.
remember that.
Yeah, Irene Aldana is facing Aspen Ladd, so that should be really good. Ian Gary, who is obviously a lot of people are talking about him being like the new Conor McGregor. He's facing against Darian Weeks, so that should be good.
In my opinion, that should be Patty the Batty. In my opinion,
Yes.
Ian Gary should be being blown up by the UFC.
Yeah.
Why he wasn't on that London card? Do not ask me.
Yeah, I don't know either, but he's on this card. He's on the pay per
He's
view
on
card.
this
So
one.
then, yeah. So there
I'm
might
just
be
saying that
more viewers and stuff. So
UFC London, man, that was huge. If he'd have fought on that card, that'd have been so good because he was a Cage Warriors
yeah.
guy.
Do you know what's
It's just
crazy? You know who's on the fucking prelims? Jairzinho Rosenstruck is on the freaking the prelims. I don't freaking understand why, but he is. He's the first fight on the prelims. The first fight against Marcin Tybura. That's crazy, right? So
the UFC is weird. Rosenstrike, I mean, Rosenstrike just lost, and I get it, dude. But he lost. He lost to someone good.
he
It
shouldn't be in
wasn't
the
like
prelims though. That's crazy. Like that's that guy's like a top level fighter. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm not. Yeah, I don't see why. I mean, I get Tiberius is still like a top 15 guy. I don't get. I don't get that either. The first fight in the prelims too. Like I think it'd be like
no,
at
he's the
least
first
second to
fight. He's
last.
the first fight on the prelims. It's crazy. I
I
can't
think it'd
believe
be at
it.
least second to last. Yeah, that's weird, dude.
Yeah, there's a few other fights in the early prelims. Kay Hansen is coming back. Vince Bichelle,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm okay of a fan of, and then we have Mickey Gall, who everybody knows is coming back, and he's in the early prelims. So I think the reason why they put Jairzinho Rosenstruck in the prelims is because it's a stacked card. Like the main card is pretty stacked. You can't really move many other people except Calvin Gastelum if you want to move him to the prelims and like put Jairzinho Rosenstruck in there, which they can still do. They use UFC a week before or a few days before. They will move around a lot of fights, so you never know what can happen. But that's going to be April 9th, everybody. So we'll take a break next week. We might have a show if there's a lot of headlines. But we're definitely taking a break in terms of talking about a fight card because there is no fight card next week. Everybody should tune into the One Championship tournament that's coming up. This is a 3-part tournament. Again, like I said, Demetrius Johnson's going to be in there. Stamp Vertex, Angela Lee, Rote is going to be there, and also Danielle Kelly and Andre Galval is also going to be in there in the part 1 of the series. So if anyone wants to stay up and watch that, you can. I'm going to try to do that, my best to do that for sure. Thank you, Dustin, for being on the show with me. I know Alec couldn't make it, but we had a really good show anyways. Did you want to say something before we wrap up?
Unfortunately, I cannot watch the One Championship. I will be in California this weekend.
Oh, that'd be fun.
But I believe One actually has their stuff on demand, so you can actually watch that stuff even after, because they understand American viewers. They have to stay up too late. They'll have it ready. You just have to get on the right website.
Okay,
but it is. Oh, my bad. It is exciting. It is exciting. It's one is a really good promotion. And if there is a fan out there who wants to dabble something other than the UFC, it's a great promotion. They have a lot of good fighters. So I actually do encourage everybody to watch that promotion.
For sure. Everybody won championships this Saturday, as well as obviously the UFC Columbus fight card. Everybody have a great week, and we will see you all next week. Bye, everybody.